Alright, so my problem is number 3, and I am trying to find the least common denominator. So for A, this is our problem, x plus 1 over 2, parentheses x minus 3 squared, plus 5 over 4, parentheses x minus 3. So we are trying to find the least common denominator of these two problems. So the first thing to know is that when you are finding the LCD of an algebraic expression, the first thing, if nothing is in common, is to take all. And the second thing is that if something is common, take the higher power. But before we can do any of those things, we need to distribute the bottoms of these two fractions. So let's start with 2x minus 3 squared. So first start out with making your 2x minus 3 raised to the second, take it and make it 2x minus 6 and make it squared. Now, we got 2x minus 6 by distributing the 2. 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times a negative 3 is negative 6. But it's still squared, and you can't forget that. Now, when you make this squared, it doesn't just mean that the 6 is squared and the 2x is squared. This 2 means that there's 2 copies of what's in the parentheses. So this means and whenever you have two problems like this means to FOIL, or to multiply both sets, in other words. So you take your first set of numbers, 2x times 2x, your outsides, your inside, and your last two. Now you are going to get your Now you're going to get your like terms together. So you have 4x squared, and your negative 12s, which would be negative 24x plus 36. Now you are ready to factor this problem, and you start out by taking your 4x squared. Now we are looking for something that multiplies to equal 4 times 36 which is 144, and adds to equal a negative 24x. And if you go through your factors, you can see that a negative 12 and a negative 12, because the two negatives multiply to equal 144, they also add to equal a negative 24. So those are the two numbers that you use. Now once you get to here, you can use group factoring. Now from this set, you can pull out a 4x, which would leave you with, to equal 4x squared from this set, you would need another x, and to equal a negative 12x, you would need a negative 3. Now from this set, you want to force this x minus 3. And from that set, you would bring out a negative 12. So now that you have these two things, you get the factor of 4x minus 12 and x minus 3. And this actually is your least common denominator for this number because this right up here was your first set, and this was the set we just factored, and 4 and x minus 3 can both fit into these two factors, and this we know can fit into this one, and because this is the higher power, this is your LCD of this problem, which is 4x minus 12 and x minus 3. Now, there is a B to this problem. Now, for B, it looks like these are already in set two factors. So let's start with the first denominator. And you start off right away by factoring. So you can take your two x's. And now we need to find a number that multiplies to equal a positive 6, yet adds to equal a negative 5. And it looks like the two numbers you can use are a negative 2 and a negative 3, sorry. And to check this, to make sure you get back to the original number, is FOIL. First, outside, inside, and last. Combine like terms. And I came out with the same that I started with. So it looks like these two factors are for the bottom. Now, because we're trying to find the least common denominator, we need to see if we can factor to get any of the same terms we got in this first set. So let's go over here. And this also looks like it is all ready to be factored. Now we are looking for a term that multiplies to equal a negative 10, but adds to equal a positive 3. And it looks like we can use a negative 2 and a positive 5. And let's do a quick check. And you FOIL it to quick check it to see if you can get the same answer you started with. First, and your outside terms, your inside term, and your last terms. Oops. Combine like terms. And we did get the same that we started with. So these two, for B we have these two sets that we FOIL to. But remember, when we are combining, that when we are finding the LCD of algebraic expressions, if nothing is in common, you take them all. So let's see, the two things in common are the x minus 2, so we write that, because this works for both of them. Now we have x minus 3 and x plus 5, so we take both. And that is your LCD. And these are your answers for number 3.